Hi, I'm Crystal with Mocha Genius Dog here with Taiko, the Shiba Inu puppy. Taiko is now 19 weeks old and continues to grow like a weed. So we had a little bit of a light training week because he's going through a lot of teething right now. And so I could tell when he was yawning, I could see molars in the far back starting to emerge. And so I could tell that was making him kind of painful. He wasn't wanting to take a lot of the usual treats that we use, and when he did, he was just taking forever, like extra long to chew. So it was just kind of hard to do a lot of repetition. And I know, like, when I have stuff going on with that, especially in my mouth, I just don't feel like learning and doing stuff. So I give him a little bit of a break there. And another thing that was going on is he's going through a fear period, which he's been kind of mildly having some fear issues the last week or two, and it's a totally normal puppy thing. They come and go for about the first year and a half of a dog's life. Sometimes you notice them, sometimes you don't. But since he's been super confident with everything else, when he does kind of get startled at stuff, it stands out. So during these fear period times, I just want to make whatever the experience is, just kind of end it on a good note and not push it too far. So he started having some fear pop up in like heavy traffic areas and just with certain like little statues or different Halloween decorations that we would see when we were out and about. So just kind of taking it easy there, letting him just be a dog and doing our normal socialization. You know, we're still getting out, having fun, and doing a little training here and there, but just not really adding a whole lot of new stuff. But he did have a really good breakthrough with his healing maneuvers, learning how to pivot. Since he has been, you know, still dealing with his kind of collar and leash sensitivities, it's forced me to be completely hands-off with it and just really have to shape it from the ground up. So in a way, that's been kind of fun. So he just did awesome learning to do his pivot. I used the ball to spin around, and then he was able to get out into open space. So I'll give a little demonstration of that because that was a pretty big achievement. And just as a trainer, it was a lot of fun for me to do something different since he's not falling for my usual tricks and really making me think outside the box. So we'll grab some of his treats right now. And I'm mostly just using his raw diet, so it doesn't give me a whole lot to work with each day, and it's really messy to work with, but it's super high value, so I can do a lot of those things that might be more challenging, and we just do it for shorter periods of time, and he's got breakfast and dinner we get to work with. All right, so this is the ball we worked with, and then I've just got his raw meat. So I've only worked him on the right side with it so far, so let's see what he'll do. Hey, Taiko, come here, bud. And since this is just so messy, I just mouth click doing the, instead of using my normal clicker. And to him, it all means the same. Taiko, heel. Good boy. So I've already trained this side, so I'm actually gonna start in open space first, just to see where we're starting from. Taiko, heel. Good boy, awesome. So he's retaining it really nice. So when I'm doing this turn, heel, good. So when I'm doing the inside turn, what I'm watching for is that his shoulders are staying pretty close to my leg and that his butt is doing all the movement. So you'll see how those hind legs really cross over. Heel. Good boy, good job, heel. Good. So he's showing a really strong understanding of it, like when he's not fully tucked in, and I can just kind of like twist my hips, good, and get that reaction. So that's him watching my body in the position and where it's at. So since he already knows it on the right side, I'm actually gonna do it on the left now to see how he does, and just to show comparison of when he doesn't fully understand it. Because I have done a little bit on the left, but not to the point where he showed a strong understanding of that pivot. All right, come here. Taiko. Heel. Come here, Taiko. Heel. Good. So you can see he doesn't quite understand the position as well because I don't have an edge to help keep him nice and tight. Taiko, heel. Good boy, come on, heel. Good boy. So that was actually pretty good that he did move. Heel. Good. Because the last time I played around with it, he wasn't showing much of an understanding unless I was using the ball. And this side, like I said, I didn't work on it a whole lot. Taiko, heel. Good. So it's still not as tight as I want. You can see he's moving away. Heel. And then he just doesn't fully understand how to get back. So I'm going to bring the ball in and kind of teach this side a little stronger now. All right, come here, bud. Good boy. Taiko, heel. Good. So to start, I just stay nice and close to the ball. Then as I come around it, I'm doing like a 90-degree turn, which causes his butt to swing. And him walking out forward, this is exactly the reason I normally train this on leash, because I can shorten that leash and prevent a lot of this. Taiko, heel. But since Taiko doesn't like the leash, especially when he's on my left side, it's just not as productive. All right, so I'm going to do a 90-degree turn around the ball where there's just enough room for him to come in, because then it forces that hind end to swing tight. Taiko, heel. Whoops. And he has to stay on the same side of the ball as me. And the ball can be anything. I mean, it can be a box, a chair, the corner of a wall. I just have a ball and he's small enough and respectful that he doesn't kick it and move it around. A lot of bigger dogs might not see it, and that's not going to work. Heel. Good boy. There you go. So now as I just keep rotating around, heel. Then once I feel like he's starting to get an understanding of it, then I'm going to start moving away from it, adding a little bit more space so I can see kind of how dependent he is. So like here, I'm going to take a bigger step away. Taiko, heel. Good. So taking a little bit bigger step away, he's still bringing his hips over. Do another bigger step. Taiko, heel. Good. Good boy. So by moving away, it starts to teach the side step as well, because he's now got to come sideways and closer to me. Taiko, heel. Good boy. And then I just start adding a little bit more movement. Good boy, where we start going forward and turn. Heel. So I thought I was going to get to show a lot more of the training, but apparently he slept on it from the last time we played around with this, and he really learned it, because he definitely did not have an understanding on the last session I ended. So it really just goes to show how much just sometimes going through the movements of training, even if the dog isn't showing understanding, how much that rest time can really benefit, and why it's so important to just practice the pattern correctly, because that is just getting that muscle memory in there and really teaching him. Good job. Taiko, heel. Good boy. Heel. Good. Heel. Good. So now that he's learning how to tuck his hind end in, now he can start doing stuff like the backing and more out in open space, because now he knows how to fix it if he gets out of position. Heel. Good boy. So I've never tried a side step with him, but let me just see what he does, since he is kind of coming sideways towards me. Heel. Good. And then I'm only going to feed him when he actually stays next to me. So with a side step, I want both his shoulders and his hips to come close to me. And in the beginning, they don't have to go exactly the same, but they both need to step over without going forward. Taiko, heel. So I can bring the shoulders and then the hips. Good boy. Heel. Good. Let's see, I can get shoulders and then, oh no, my hips there. Heel. Good. Good boy. Heel. Good. Whoopsie. Off. So if it starts to get a little sloppy, this tells me that like, okay, I'm being a little too loose with it, not getting as much control, where he's just moving around, sometimes falling into the right position, but most of the time not. So I'm not going to continue with this right now, just because I don't have my stuff perfectly set up because I wasn't planning on doing the side step. So I really do need to get him comfortable with the leash and being able to do that. So I'm gonna start working on kind of just getting him comfortable with some of those light cues. So I've done it a couple times this week where I just have my hand on his collar. Okay, come on. Or I just have my hand on his collar, and then the eventual collar cue for it is to be just lifting straight up, and then that tells him to go into that sit position. So it's really hard working with meat. Everything just gets so gross. So I haven't been actually applying the pressure just yet, just having my hand touching him and then seeing if I can just use a food lure, because this is how he originally learned how to sit. So I know he knows what it means. Good boy. And then giving him that treat. So that was probably the quickest he's done it so far. Normally he's a lot more resistant. He just kind of freezes up and he just doesn't want to do it. And then I can start playing around with the same thing with down, just moving my hand underneath, because the down cue is going to be going straight down. So again, I'm not putting the pressure, just having my hand there and luring him and moving my hand with it. Good job. So this is where the high value treats really come in handy for him, because this is about all he would move for. The other treats he would just turn his nose up. And then coming back into a sit, it's going to be straight up. Good. So once I feel like he's starting to move nicely, then I'll start adding a little bit of pressure to it, kind of as he goes. So just as he's going, kind of applying that light pressure just to get the feel of it. And then eventually I want to be able to initiate that pressure myself and have him follow it. So I'm going to cue him, start applying this light pressure. Good. Good boy. And then the second he gets into the position and really starts going, then I release it. So it's going to be that pressure and release. So moving back up to get him into the sit. You cue the sit, lift up slightly. Good boy. So I'm going to see if I apply a little pressure first without the food lure, just see what he gives me. Nothing. So I'm just very light pressure. I don't want to pull him too hard and cause that resistance. Good. So that was nice on that one. Once he started going, I was able to apply the pressure a little bit. So this is really huge for him. And this is something I often start with dogs, or dogs who are a little older, at least, in the 4 to 6 month range or older. But with him, we've had to do it backwards. Like I said, I shaped everything, and now we're going back and teaching these cues. So these collar cues are going to be able to help for, times he just doesn't want to. So like here, he's locking up. Good boy. So times he just doesn't want to, or times he's too distracted, or when he's confused, I want to be able to just have a feather light way to be able to control him, and it doesn't go with the word. He already knows the words for sit, down, stand. So this is just going to be kind of a backup plan for that, where it's just about the collar. The feel on the collar is what means something to him. So right now you can say, I can pull, I can put all that pressure on the collar. He's not going to go anywhere. He actually dropped his head like he's thinking about it. Yay, good boy, Taiko, good boy. I did not expect that, so jackpot for that. Like I said, this is really huge for him, because when I had tried it earlier on, probably about a month ago, he was super resistant. He just hated every minute of it. And I was doing it with the leash, so it could be just the difference of me having my hand on there. So the next step, well, I'm going to get him really comfortable with this first, and then the next step is transition to doing it with the leash. So I'm going to see if I can cue him up. And the idea is not that I'm physically moving him. I mean, I can outpower him any day, but I want it to be his willingness. So he's not going up. I'm just going to bring the lure. Good. And then he went right up. So as he starts pairing this, then it starts coming together. Hi. So now that he's standing. So it makes more sense, good, with the other directions. Dogs don't always understand, like especially if he's standing and I lift up, that means I want his butt to go down. But because we've done so much work on his different positions, and he knows when the food comes out, I often, want to practice his obedience So it's really awesome to see him trying, even though I know it's something that he's a little bit uncomfortable with. Hi, sit. Good boy. High five. Good boy. Down. Whoopsie. Down. Good. And then another thing, just kind of having his high value treat here, is getting him to do his sits and downs where he has to go away from the food. So, as I'm holding it, anywhere where he obviously just wants to follow it and go wherever the food is. So getting him to sit with it above his head is easy, but now if I want him to go down, he has to leave that food. Taiko, down. Whoops. There you go. Good boy. Good. And then same thing, going from a sit where he's got to come away from it. Taiko, sit. Yes, good. Good job. So he's shown pretty nice impulse control, and where I have taken things kind of slow with him, you can see it's really about quality over quantity. I know I can teach him a whole bunch of things and have him be kind of confused, but especially with just the basics of obedience, because that's going to be the foundation for everything that we do in the future. So it's really important to me that he just understands this, and I just love seeing the willingness. Like every week I feel like he's getting more and more willing, which is nice. I mean, for any dog, but especially a Shiba, a breed that they say is untrainable, but I don't believe that there's any dogs that can't be trained. It's all about finding what motivates them, and sometimes it's different things, different weeks. Earlier in the week for any harder food, he was like, no thank you, I'm not going to do anything. He would either just stare at me and walk away. So it's knowing what he really likes and then taking advantage, get it out of there, taking advantage of that meal, because I could very easily just throw his breakfast and his dinner down and miss this opportunity, but it's something he really likes, and so it really makes training fun. You're such a good boy. All right, off. Take it off. Get out of here. Yeah, come on. Pause it. Good boy. Off. Good. And even just stuff like that. I plan to be done, and then he doesn't move away from the food, so I always just like to get that last one where I'm ending on a good note. So, good boy, buddy. So we were walking along this busy street, and Taiko started having a little bit of fear reaction where he was wanting to just kind of scoot away from the edge of the sidewalk anytime the bigger trucks, louder vehicles went by. So we found a little spot up off the sidewalk a bit to give him some distance. So we're just gonna sit here for a few minutes to let him watch the vehicles until he gets more comfortable. And if he continues to want to scooch away, I'm just gonna give him a little bit more time and not walk him along busy streets like this until he shows more comfort with it. I don't want him to feel overwhelmed in an area that he's clearly not enjoying, but he's doing a lot better up here. He's got his tail up, he's watching, this is all pretty neutral. He chose to sit down on the wall to watch the vehicles, so that's a good sign. It shows he's feeling a little bit more relaxed. So having the distance from all the noisy cars is helping him. So I'm gonna wait here a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna take him down along the street again just to see where he's at. If he starts scooting away, I'm gonna stop pretty quickly, move him away, and then just wait to do this another day. It may be, another week or so before I attempt this again. Since he's young, he may just be going through a little phase, so I don't need to push it. So I would rather wait a couple weeks and have him comfortable doing this the rest of his life than push him too much now. But he's showing me the distance is helping. All right, so we're doing our walk after watching some traffic. We've got a good area of grass giving us some division, but we're gonna lose that coming up pretty soon. So he's been doing okay with the cars, it's just the louder vehicles, and this is a really busy road with really heavy traffic. So there, he moved away a little bit. So he's doing better. Good boy, Taiko. Yeah, good boy. So as we go and the cars pass him and he doesn't react, I just talk to him and just let him know that he's all right. Good boy. So he moved away a little bit, but that's good. It's much better than he was doing before. So the test will be when we get a truck here. Hi, Olive. Normally one of the first things I would do would be to have him switch over to my opposite side where I can have myself between him and the traffic, but he's still working on his collar and leash sensitivity and he just doesn't like being on the left. So it's more stressful for me to try to do that than it is to just let him go. Let's go. Let's truck. Good boy, you're all right, buddy. Come on. Good boy, Taiko. All right, so we've finally got some more traffic coming now. He's wanting to move away from that. I'm having a harder time controlling him just because I'm trying to do the camera. Let's go. He's been wanting to pull a bit more than normal, so we've got a nice row of pillars. So if he wants to pull to the left, we're gonna do some pull training. So if he goes too far left, I'm gonna let him get stuck there. Just maintain pressure on the leash. I'm gonna wait for him to figure it out. And I'll keep slowly pulling it back. Good boy. And the second he goes, I'll release it. Good boys. He stayed on my side of the pole with that one. Good choice. And this is our second round doing this, so he's learning. Good boy. The first time we went by, he was getting stuck on every single pole. So we just stopped and did that. Here, we're gonna get another one. So all the months we've been walking, well, 2.5, he's always been encouraged to stay close to me. But since he's wanting to pull and I don't want to continue to fight him because it's not going to be productive, but I have like an hour or so to kill while waiting to get in to see a walk-in vet for Olive. So this is how I bring more awareness to me without having to fight him with the leash. Good boy. At the vet, we've got a cute little puppy over there. Good boy. All right, we're gonna go this way. Good boy. So normally he does really good at staying on the right side of the pole, so I can tell that he's getting his brain more engaged now. Good boy. So this is the direction we were going when we did our first set where he was getting stuck behind everyone. Good boy. So I'm not having to cue him at all since I let him get stuck and figure it out those handful of times. Now he's just more aware and he's doing it all on his own. Exactly what I want to see. Hi, you're so good. You're so good. Come on, Taiko, let's go. Good boy. So anytime he makes some effort, I loosen it for just a second and then reapply that pressure. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. So you can see now he's making better choices. You want to play too, Olive? Taiko, up. Hey, I know, all the pee. Let's go. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. All right, Taiko, let's go. Come on, bud. Watch out for the blackberry. Good boy. Taiko, let's go. Let's go. Good boy. Good boy. All right, can you turn around? Good. Oh, yeah, the bush is silly. Let's go. Good boy. All right, can you turn around? Attaboy. Taiko, wait. Good. Alright, slippery metal bench. Come here, Taiko. Good boy. Alright, come back this way. Taiko, sit. Good job. Alright, I'm working on him walking on my left side. And it's not that he doesn't know how or he's not capable, because he can do it off leash. It is all about where the leash and the collar touch him. So he's not used to it being by his right ear. So it's that right there. So I keep trying to just shift it over where it'll hang, but then he shakes it off and it resets it. So I don't want him to get too far ahead. If he stays close, I can use my leg to block him and prevent him from tucking behind. Come on, Taiko, let's go. So his ears are down, his tongue is out. There's the shake, trying to get it to readjust. So, this is why we're doing the sweater, and all the other work, and why I'm doing a lot of his healing stuff off leash. And so when I let him on this side, he's comfortable with where it hangs. He can just walk. That's what he's used to. But gotta walk on the other side too sometimes. Good boy. Scoot over. So to be successful with this, I really just need to keep it short, where I can prevent him from crossing, and he won't take food when I do this. So it's just a matter of having him do it in little bits and getting used to it. So I found a spot where there's enough room for me to walk in the curb or in the gutter and have him up on the curb. So I'm gonna put his collar low on his neck and see if I can get him, let's go, to walk. Come on that side where he won't, come on, where he won't just fall into the gutter. Good boy. Good boy. So he's definitely pulling more than he normally does. Leave it, that's gross. Leave it. Good boy. So he's not really thinking much. He's just going a lot, but he's at least staying on that side of me. So this gives me a little bit. I'm heading over to a park where I'm gonna have some walls I can put him up on and do the same thing where I can get a little closer. Okay, so I've got this wall here, and he has enough experience on walls. Hey bud, settle down. He has enough experience on walls that I'm comfortable that he's not gonna try to jump off it. This way, whoops. Need to put a new clip on this leash. Yeah, I know, it's stressful. You're making it way harder than it needs to be, buddy. All right, so this way I'm gonna walk closer to him. I'm gonna hold the leash up just to simulate the angle when he's near me. Come on, Taiko, let's go. But from this wall, he can't just cut across or go behind me. Good boy. You can still have the sensation of that leash there. Good boy. So I'm gonna go around to the other side. All right, Taiko, turn around. Come on. Taiko, let's go. Good. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. So he's definitely being more reactive than actually thinking and using his brain. So that's where you get a lot more of the pulling. Come on. A lot more of the pulling, the stress panting. Now that we're down on flat ground a little, he's back to shaking, wanting to cross behind. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. You can see just with the tail of the leash touching him. So this is our challenge. And he's so much more comfortable just on the opposite side. So for him, I know he can get over it. He just has to get used to the sensation of just the slight difference being on the opposite side of his neck. But you see, he just moves away from that. He doesn't like it touching him at all. Come here, bud. Taiko, let's go. Let's go. Good boy. Good. All right, so we've been doing a few minutes of this now, so I'm gonna let him switch over to the other side because I don't want to overstress him. Leave it. Good boy. I don't want to overstress him and make him not enjoy walks anymore, so just a little bit of practice every day, every walk will help, and he'll eventually get there. He's not stopping and turning, so all of that is all because he's trying to get away from the leash. And I'm trying a new thing to try to help with his leash sensitivity. So I've got one leash on, and then I connected a second one, which I just looped around him a couple times, so that way I've got something touching each shoulder and his neck. So far, he's not really feeling it. Come on, bud, you can do it. Good boy. So got the shaking. He was trying to bite at it a little earlier. This is just such a huge thing that he just is so bothered by. After yesterday's walk, which he didn't enjoy because I was asking him to walk on my opposite side. Now his leash avoidance, when I went to take him on this walk initially, he's starting to not like it and run away again. So really got to get this under control, and I'm just gonna start really thinking outside the box to get creative to desensitize him. Good boy. Atta boy. So we're just gonna go for walks like this, find new ways to have things touch him. Come on, Taiko. Let's go enjoy a walk, buddy. Atta boy. What?
Oh, what happened to Olive?
I wasn't there earlier.
Yeah, because she had a little allergy.
Good boy.
Olive.
Taiko, here you go, biter.
Taiko, come here. Look, it's fine. Come here.
He's like, no, Mom.
Look, it's fine. Here you go.
Not sure what to think about that.
Very scary. Very, very scary.
Good boy.
Hi, buddy. Hello. I got to look for somebody.
Oh, Taiko.
Are you curious about the tape measure? Oh, Taiko, you're so silly. Boy. You have to taste everything. That'll be very helpful when you learn how to pull it. All right, new mind. Can I get back to what I was doing? Yeah. Can you not be so weird? No, that's what I meant by being weird. Thank you. Taiko, stop. Stop eating the floor, you weirdo. Also, I love you. You're not big enough.
I know, love. That's cute. Hi.
There we go.
Hi, Taiko. You look pretty happy, buddy.
He's so good. You ready for it? Blow dry. You're silly.